I would have that conversation that we had about how TikTok is not like Instagram, where you're supposed to be exposed to all of these new things from new people from around the world that you don't know. And you have this incredible once in a lifetime potential and chance to upload yourself to this platform that can and will skyrocket you with the right kinds of content. So what I would say to him is, you're leaving a lot of money and opportunity on the table by not being on this. There is a tribe for you, and they're just waiting for you. And by you not being there is leaving money on the table.
That was a clippable moment. I'm gonna take that clip right there and just edit it up in my style.
Sweet, clip it, dude. Yeah.
Welcome to the podcast. My name is Tom Boyd. This is the show where I uncover how creators are building brands online, from their monetization strategies to their mindsets to their creative process. Today, we're talking to Sean Ulashim, who is a creator who is helping you lead a more impactful life by making entertaining and insightful videos on TikTok. Yeah, and he's sitting around 500,000 followers that he's accrued in a short period of time, just a couple of months. And in my opinion, he's created the most relaxing video on TikTok, which is a bit of an oxymoron, but he was able to do it, and we talk about that in this show. And he also has a full-time job as a video content creator for a really dope brand, and we go deep into that as well. Sean makes the case for why you should be on TikTok as a creator. He breaks down his creative process that has helped him build this large audience so quickly, and we break down practical ways creators should be thinking about monetizing their content. Before we get into the show, do your boy a favor, click the Apple Podcast link and subscribe, and write a sweet review that I can screenshot and send to my mom, proving to her that actual humans listen to my content. All right, that's it. Let's get into the show. I was checking out your account, and I realized that you've made the most relaxing video on TikTok.
That's right.
And relaxing and TikTok usually don't go in the same sentence. So can you tell me why it was so important for you to make that specific video?
Yeah, I mean, with the short version is I wanted to relax too, because I just feel so stimulated 100% of the time. I mean, that's what TikTok is. That's what social media is. And I just figured, like, everybody's dancing and everybody's doing the trend and the lip sync and the duets and all that. And there's no one was making a video that was like, hey, just chill, and it seemed to hit like a lot of people too, because like if you go through the comments on that one video, people are like, man, I'm crying. And it's just crazy because like I didn't do anything in the video, I just breathed, so I saw a gap and I filled it.
Tell me more about you solved the problem for you. You were like, hey, I want to slow down. Tell me more about just that whole approach that you bring to TikTok.
Yeah. So my whole thing with TikTok is like, just add value where you can. Cause like, and like, I'm sure so many other people know, it's just such a shit show all of the time. Like it's entertaining and it's funny and you'll laugh and you see some hot girls or whatever, but like, man, what value is that adding to your life? So like, I'm trying to make these videos that A, make you think, B, entertain you a little, and C, you can leave with, a little bit of knowledge, or like you can remember that one TikTok that looked better than all the other TikToks that you saw that day. And it was this one guy with long hair and a stupid mustache that was like, hey, breathe. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's just from a holistic point of view, I'm just really trying to just add a little bit more mindfulness, mostly into my life. But I think, if I can affect a bunch of other kids on the internet, I'm going to do it as well. Totally.
And I think you're doing a good job at it. And I see the way that you're able to be, as a creator, you've developed this brand, this audience where I feel like a lot of people are getting that same experience. You're doing ongoing series. What are some of the other series that you have on your TikTok?
So, the big, maybe the only series that I really take seriously and didn't at first was this series called Testing Your Attention Span, which is so stupid, dude. I'm laughing at myself thinking about it now.
Bro, I feel like you're hacking the algorithm a little bit, because you're literally challenging people to watch the whole thing, but it's still adding value to them at the same time.
Right, exactly. That's exactly it. So like I decided early on, I started my account January 1st, and I'm like, I'm going to make an account that's all about mindfulness and just how to be a better person, as if I'm going on 24, as if I know anything about life yet. So I just made it my mission to like, do that. And I started making like, how to meditate and how to, journal and all of this. And then I was like, man, but like I can't even focus on these things myself. And like, so how can, Johnny, who's 13 from Kansas, do anything like me? So I was like, okay, well, I got to really go back down to the basics of like, just pay attention to something. And like at the time, it was just a minute. Now there's 3 minutes. So sorry, let me back up. The whole idea was like, just make a video that you have to focus on for a whole minute and just take that 1 minute out of your day to really focus on just being mindful about being present and being attentive. I had no idea. I did not know it was going to take off as much as I did. I posted the first testing your attention, and I said at the very beginning, the hook was, you can't finish this video. Try it. It's not going to work out. Then I go into my whole thing. This is testing your attention, the show that testing improves your attention span for the better. And then I just talk about attention span for about a minute. And it's all real information that I found on the internet somewhere. Who knows if it's credible, but it's something. It's, it doesn't matter. It's TikTok. I woke up the next morning to like 300,000 views and hella comments being like, I finished this out of spite. And it was so interesting because like, I'm not holding you at gunpoint. You could scroll away if you want. And it's just so crazy how many people are like, nope, this brown kid on the internet said I can't do it, so I got to do it now. So yeah, it's a little hacky, but it's also, the value there is just improving your attention span.
Exactly. You use the hacks that other people would use like for people's own good, right? And
Exactly.
and that's sort of some people I was talking to someone and they, they see sort of like from like a general overview of like what social media is doing to the world. And so they decide to completely boycott it. And my thinking is people are going to use it either way. So we might as well, the good guys that really want to add value and use it to impact people and help people thrive, to use it for good. If all the good guys abandon it, then it's just going to be nothing but filth. So
Exactly.
I love the approach. And so like an idea like that, how do you where do your ideas come from for this? Are you journaling? Is it, you're at work and you think of something for a video like that? Like how does that idea come to be?
Yeah, that's a good question. Well, to answer that, I'd probably I'll give you the short version of like my whole account. So basically, I've been on TikTok since before TikTok. Like I was on Musical.ly. I wasn't on it. I was just consuming it,
Yeah.
And then it became TikTok, and I was like, okay, I'll just like keep consuming. And I had an account before. It wasn't really serious. Outside of TikTok and work, I'm a professional magician. So I was like posting card stuff on TikTok. Some of it, picked up and some of it didn't. It wasn't really taking it seriously. And I had a couple friends that blew up in a major way. I don't know if you know the card guy.
Not familiar,
he's
I
got,
believe you.
he was one of like the
I
first
can get
TikTokers.
it right away.
Yeah. He's got 16 million followers now. And
Something light.
Yeah, exactly. So I was like, man, there's always been a part of me ever since I was a kid that like wanted an audience. And so the new year came around, and I'm big into New Year's resolutions, but only doing one big one, So like every year I try to do a big thing and stick with it for the whole year. So this year, 2021, I was like, I'm going to start a new account from scratch, and I'm not going to do the card thing because I've been doing cards on social media since 2013 or whatever. And I want to do something. I want to see
Fresh.
if I can. Yeah, I want to see if I can, actually live up to my self-given title of social media guy. So I was like, okay, what's my whole theme? And I had just watched, what's it called? The Social Dilemma. And I was like, yeah, social media is bad, so I'm going to be the change. So I started my account, and the original username was @resolutionreminder. And my whole idea was to make little video logs for myself, literally not as a hack or anything, literally for me, Sean, so I could look at TikTok every day because I'm on it, and I could track like, okay, am I getting after these like goals and stuff, literally videos for myself. And then it slowly turned into, obviously other people saw them and they were like, oh, this kid knows what he's doing. And it probably came from like a little bit of advice that I have, but also like my filmmaking background. And so I just had this niche of like good looking content, and is also good sounding content and good emotional content or whatever. So I changed my username to my name, and I just really sat into this role of like, hey, I'm just going to be, if Gary Vee was Keanu Reeves and a little bit Asian. So that's sort of like, that's like where I'm getting at now. So yeah, the ideas to answer your question, there's a long way to answer your question. The ideas for videos are like things that I experience in my daily life. Like I wish I had a better attention span. I wish that I could journal better. I wish that I was as productive as, I see Gary Vee being, or these other entrepreneurs being. And the other part of that is like, I have this like real obsession ever since high school. My whole high school project was on social media, but I have this big obsession with like the internet because it's I keep coming at it with like this new lens of like, dude, this is like a once in a lifetime technology. And it's weird to say that because obviously we've grown up with it, but like there was a point in time not too long ago where the internet didn't exist and people had to send physical pieces of mail to communicate. And now we have this magical thing that we can spread ideas at the speed of light. Are you kidding? So of course I'm going to use that in the best way I can. So it's just, it's a combination of that. And then just like, real personal experience in what I consider to be good advice.
There's a lot to unpack there.
Sorry about that.
One, so what was this specific goal at New Year's? What was that goal? Just to grow on TikTok?
Yep. But specifically, I want 1 million followers, and I'm not going to stop there. But like I was like, a million.
Let's get it.
Yeah. No, my like if you see a million next to someone's name, you're like, that person maybe knows what they're talking about, and I want that to be me. And it's also
I back it completely.
Yeah.
And like when you talk about the ideas, it's so easy to create an account off of anything that you want. Like someone, if they wanted to create an account how to be a fly fisherman, they could literally just go to fly fisherman Twitter, go to fly fisherman Reddit, and just repurpose anything they're learning into talking head TikTok videos.
Exactly, dude. And that's a good point too, because like I brushed off TikTok, as I'm sure so many of people my age did, as like that's where teens go to dance and be sexualized.
Yep.
As soon as you say TikTok, I think it's changing now, but 6 months ago, if you were to say, "Oh yeah, I'm a TikToker," all of a sudden you don't take this person seriously, But now I realized after just a month of doing TikTok, like actually seriously this year, after a month of it, I was like, dude, I've found a tribe of people who A, like me and B, respect me. And I think that's so true. So for example, like the fly fisherman thing, that's awesome. Like you can be with other fly fishermen and you can learn the ways of fly fishing, or you can tap an audience of people who didn't even know they wanted to know about fly fishing. It's such a cool thing. Like I follow a bunch of people that are like skateboarders, and I can't even look at a skateboard without falling, but I'm so interested in skateboarding that I'm going to watch these skateboarders.
Totally, man.
It's so cool.
And I think it's so important for, I have this phrase, this idea that it's impact-driven creators or attention-driven creators. And impact-driven, they're storytellers and teachers, and they understand how to get attention. Attention-driven are only people that are here to hack the algorithm and get attention. They're, the typical vloggers you see that end up getting in trouble because all they were doing was trying to hack attention and with headlines, thumbnails, and all this stuff. But you can tell from the jump that like people like you right now, you're inspiring thousands of people potentially to create the similar type of content. Then they're going to inspire people to make this type of content that is more from the impact-driven side of things. Now, in one of your videos, you do these fun little quotes, and you mentioned a quote, and I wanna kind of get your thinking on it. You don't have to be great to start, but you have to start in order to be great. So tell me how that applies to your start, the launch of this TikTok account that you're currently working on.
Yeah, I mean it's as face value as it gets. Like you don't have to be. I mean, dude, you especially on TikTok, you do not have to be an expert in cinematography or lenses or light or editing. TikTok itself is made for the average person. Average Joe to pick up the phone, record a funny clip, and post it to the internet and have bunches of people see it. You don't have to know everything to do anything now, which I think is awesome. So for me, I mean, I did see that quote on Google and I was like, guess I got to make a video about it. But after thinking about it for a sec, dude, I like so many people my friends too, like they want to do things, especially on the internet. They want to be Twitch streamers. They want to sell their art. They want to whatever, but they're just so afraid of starting because you're so afraid of failure. And that I've never been a bigger proponent of failure. Like, I just think you should mess up so many times because that's the only way you learn. And that's the reason people don't start. And by not starting, you're taking 3 steps back and 1 step forward. And it's just, everything is all about starting for me. You just got to go for it.
And listen, you talked about TikTok a little bit earlier and about how it's kind of changing the way it's being understood. And I felt the same way. And the more I explore it, the content I created, it was for Instagram Reels, and then I realized I was posting them on TikTok, and TikTok was putting me in front of. I had this idea that like TikTok views weren't real. When I started posting, I was like, they don't really even count, right? It's like I don't even know if there's real people behind these usernames. Then it started putting me in front of, like you said, a tribe, a lot of like-minded, creative, entrepreneurial individuals that like you, right? Like literally, if I'm not posting the TikTok, I started to see that there's actually real community building utility from TikTok. I just started to appreciate it way more now today than I did in the past. And the other thing about it is it's very much a game where you don't have to be as like pretty or polished as you are on Instagram, where there's like a lot of like everything has to be prim and proper on Instagram. Where what's the analogy here? It's like it's the difference between going to like a restaurant that like you have to there's like a dress code for, going to the hole in the wall bar where you can hang with your buddies. Like you can say a bunch of stuff that doesn't really matter at the hole in the wall bar, and then like eventually one joke takes off, everyone laughs. That's not the perfect analogy, but I think you get what I'm saying. But on TikTok, it's an at bat game where people have short attention spans and they forget that 3 videos ago he made something that wasn't entertaining, but people are swiping it. It's all right, 15 seconds of my time, that's fine.
Dude, TikTok, and I had that same realization too, is that Instagram, which is where that's my world. Like I don't put a lot of effort into TikTok into Instagram anymore because I'm all TikToked out. But like Instagram is based off of like, you met a guy at a bar, you want to follow him because he makes glass art. Great. And now you see him on your feed amongst all the celebrities and all the brands you follow. But you scroll through your feed of people you follow, and those are the people you know and you like, and you know for a fact that you care about, whatever they're posting. TikTok goes without saying. It's so crazy because every swipe you're going to get a new person for the most part. And it's sort of like a looking glass into the world around you of people you don't know, you are yet to know, and the things that you are yet to love or fall in love with. It's just this really interesting platform that we don't think about or talk about enough because like it's just the norm now. It's throwing you these ideas that it thinks you like from people you have never met, and these like you and I've literally never spoken until today, and obviously we're best friends now. But it's just
we're obviously going to go on vacation in the next month together,
Exactly. Like we would have never met if it wasn't for the algorithm and for the For You page. If I was doing this on Instagram, there's 0 chance that I would be on a podcast with you.
Dude, you know what I mean? That is such a great take on it. Man, I'm with you. Even in the last like 2 weeks, I've been like totally sold on where I need to put my attention, and it is TikTok. So I want to let's talk about so is this your full-time thing, or is this a complimentary side passion of yours?
It's a side passion right now that I very much want to turn into a very profitable side passion. I have a day job. I have a day job that like, it's not like a cubicle thing. Like I really enjoy my job. It's awesome. Sort of, I could talk, should I go into that?
Yeah, let's talk about that for sure.
Okay. Yeah, so I work at this apparel brand in Portland called Portland Gear, and it's exactly what it sounds like. We make gear for Portland. This is our logo. It's a P with an Oregon in it, and it's not like touristy gear. Like it doesn't say like I saw Sasquatch while I was in Oregon. It's like it's very curated, and it's tasteful, and it's vintage inspired, and it's it's just sort of this hub for like entrepreneurs and people who are creative and people who love the city of Portland and want a way to, you know, show their pride. The whole brand was started by this guy, Marcus, who's my friend now, but he, you know, realized that Portland, the city, doesn't really have a symbol to show off its pride. Like Los Angeles has the LA Dodgers logo. New York has the Yankees logo. If you see that on a hat, you're like, okay, that guy's from New York or likes New York.
Yep.
Portland didn't really have that. We have the Trailblazers logo, but that's a pinwheel. That doesn't, it's not, you know, it's not like a letter or whatever. So he came up with this logo that's super simple and super Nike inspired, honestly, and posted it to his Instagram account and woke up to 5,000 orders. And all of a sudden he's got this brand that is the image of like entrepreneurial success, like off of social media. And now we have 2 locations. And so it's a really cool job that I get to do. I'm the videographer, so I'll do event capture and like brand video. And then also more recently, I'm their TikTok guy. So it's just my whole job, my whole life actually is just based around video creation, which this is my dream job, to be honest.
That's really awesome to hear. Now, let's unpack that a little bit. For the TikTok part of it, are you doing like talking head videos, sort of like what you're doing on your TikTok, or is it more you're repurposing a lot of the content that you've already shot for them and you're repurposing them for TikTok?
So that's a great question, because the obvious type of content to me to make for the Portland Gear TikTok would be about entrepreneurship and about brand and about how we merge our store and yada yada. And I was making those videos in the style of TikToks. That's like voiceover, sped up footage, trending audio, and like they looked like TikToks. And to me, I was like, how come these aren't blown up? I did a 5-part series about how Portland Gear was started, a longer version of what I just told you, and everything flopped. But I did this one video just 2 months ago now. I set up the camera and the text is things only Portlanders get. And I walk back into the frame and I point up on the drop of whatever song. And it says, there's this street in Portland that's spelled C-O-U-C-H. And most people, if you don't know, would pronounce it couch because it's spelled like couch, but it's actually pronounced Cooch. Because this guy, John Cooch, was a founder of Portland. So it's called Cooch Street. So I point to this guy and the text that comes up says it's Cooch, not couch, but it's spelled the same way. So it's funny. And I hashtag PDX Portland, all of these Portland hashtags, woke up to 100,000 views. Found it, figured it out. So now the
Portland culture.
That's it, baby.
Content.
Dude, people can't relate. Not a lot. There's more people that can relate to quirky things about Portland that we find boring because we're locals.
Yep.
There's more people that can relate to that than how to start a brand off Instagram. That's interesting to us. But hey, if you're a brand for the city, you have to speak the city's language, and that's being annoyed at people who don't know how to pronounce Cooch. You know, making fun of people who drink IPAs because they think they taste good. Yeah, it's just all about about tastefully
push into
making
the cliches a little bit.
Exactly, dude. So like as soon as I did that, I realized, okay, I have to sort of make TikTok kind of the modern incarnation. I don't know if you've ever seen the show Portlandia. Yeah. So it was on Netflix or it was on TV a while ago. So my whole goal is to just be Portlandia for TikTok, and it's worked out.
Brilliant.
Yeah, it's very cool. We have a really good engagement rate, and it's just as soon as I pivoted away from doing the things that interest me as a creator, which is how to start a brand, how to merch a store, how to design shirts, as soon as I pivoted from that to quirky little memes about Portland, all of a sudden our audience grew tenfold. We started reaching hundreds and thousands of millions of people. And it's just mind blowing that it's sometimes all it takes is just a little pivot.
Now, when you made that first series and it flopped, was there any pressure from your company? Like, what is the creative kind of like feedback there? Like, or is the sort of the culture, hey, we trust Sean, he's gonna figure it out?
Yeah. So I'm in the fortunate position of like this is not, you know, a big corporate gig. This is a very small business that has a pretty wide audience, to be honest. And they didn't even know they needed a video guy until they hired me 2 years ago. So honestly, we got on TikTok pretty late. Marcus, my boss, was pressuring me to get on TikTok a year ago. And I was in the mindset of like, no way, I'm not going to do the whoa in front of, you know, a bunch of people and make our brand look so childish. But I sort of started taking Portland Gear TikTok seriously this year as well. As soon as I started taking it seriously, I sort of realized, okay, there's a tribe of Portland people. So yeah, when that one series flopped, when we all thought it would do great, it was a little disappointing. But at the end of the day, Marcus has this really great big picture view of like, at the very least, 1,000 people across 5 videos saw our logo, and that's better than a poke in the eye. So it was all good. Like, it's fine. I was really disappointed in myself, but like, yeah, it was cool.
Yeah, and the reason I asked that, I think, because I've worked a lot of client projects, I have a day job. There's a different type of creative pressure when it's like for someone else. Like I find that like I have less anxiety. For me, I'm like, I understand you got to experiment. You gotta throw a bunch of spaghetti at the wall, like I say, and see what sticks. But when you're working for a brand, whether it's a one-off client or someone consistently, there's a little more, depending on like the type of collaborative relationships within that company, a little bit more pressure to succeed. So sure. It can sometimes make it difficult to continue to keep pushing and like continue to stay creative. But it looks like you figured that out, and you guys have a really cool thing figured out. Now, Marcus sounds like a really dope visionary. What is one thing that you've learned from him that you've applied to how you're looking at your brand?
Man, I love Marcus. Marcus is like the guy I want to be. And I think, I could talk forever about Marcus, but I'm not gonna, because I will literally talk forever. If I learned one thing from Marcus, it's there's a solution to everything. And I mean that from like a business standpoint. I knew nothing about business before I got to Portland Gear 2 years ago. I didn't even know the basic concept of business, which is problem solving. I had no idea. And Marcus is such an amazing problem solver. He solved the problem of not being able to wear cool clothes in Portland because everything was touristy. So he made this logo, solved that problem. And he finds ways. I mean, problem solving is literally the answer to everything, is what I've learned.
Yep.
And there's always a solution, whether it's through hell or high water, whether it's a sum of money or not a sum of money, and it's a pivot in mindset or whatever. There is never a reason. It's so difficult to be negative or to say sorry around him, because he's just so forward thinking in that, okay, well, that didn't work, so let's go on to the next solution. The TikToks about my brand, about the Portland Gear brand story flopped. Okay, what's the solution to that? The solution was making better content, making more relatable content. It's just man, he's just such a great guy. I just love that guy so much. And
dude,
that goes back.
That's awesome.
It goes back to my TikTok as well. Is like, I'm solving the problem of shitty content on TikTok that you have to sift through. There's always a solution to a problem, and a lot of people's stress comes from the unwillingness to find that problem. And I think that's the other part of what I learned from him.
Yeah, and I think, the word optimism can be thrown around in a buzzwordy kind of way, but I feel like just having the optimism to believe that there is a solution, your mind is primed to find solutions.
Yeah.
Where some people go in and automatically I heard this concept, living in between the gain or the gap. And the gain is like the things that are able to go well, and the gap is the things that are going wrong. And like the people that focus too much on the gap, they don't find the gain. Exactly.
That's what I was saying earlier, is like, so many of my friends and so many people just in general are just afraid to start because they know they're going to fail. And you are. You're not obviously you're going to find the unicorn where you hit it out of the park the first time, but dude, failing is part of winning. Like, you can't,
And I'll tell you this, because I've been around people that did have a unicorn, and that is absolutely not what you want, because then you like it's better to learn from that iterative process to develop your self-confidence, your creative process throughout it. Because if you expect that home run out the park every single time, then you're setting yourself up to be really let down in the future.
Totally. Yeah, totally. And that's why I sort of love when my videos on my page flop, even when I think it's going to be a homer, because that makes the next video that pops that much sweeter.
So let's go to that. What was the moment where you had something where it was like, this one's really taken off? On TikTok. So how many months in? You started in January. How many months in did you have a one that felt like, okay, your account is about to take off?
I had a couple in January. I have not missed a
Off
day
the-
of uploading.
Awesome.
Yeah, so it was like
Once a day?
I started with twice a day. So I think 3 weeks into January, I probably wrote it down somewhere, but 3 weeks into January, I had a video about journaling that I noticed, like it was the first time that I sort of felt like I was catching fire on a video. It was a video about how to journal, or no, it was like, okay, I've taught you how to journal. Here's the topics now that you should write about. It was 3 simple little prompts. And I looked back at my phone after 2 hours of posting it, and it was my first video that had 10K views. And I was like, something's happening. And then I reloaded, and within that 30 seconds of me being like, wow, it's got 10K, it had 12.5. And I'm like, this is really something.
Yeah.
That video didn't end up doing, I mean, like for my account, which I think probably had 1,000 and a handful followers at the time, for that,
which is where I'm at right now. So that's promising.
Yeah. I mean, at that point, I was like, "Okay, this is great. I know what I'm doing," and I figured out why it did well, and it's because of the editing, because of the hook, and all this. But then I had my first big one was beginning of February, mid-February. I did this video that was like, here's one confidence hack that you can use every day. Here's how to get more confidence. And it's a real thing my friend taught me growing up, who was an actor. He said, you just got to go to a room somewhere and stand with your arms above your head and smile like a crazy person. And that tricks your brain into releasing endorphins. And then also this does something psychologically. So I made a really quick, snappy video to that. And
How long?
It was like 17 seconds.
Yeah.
And it was edited and shot well. The light was all good. And I put it up, and it did nothing for the first 2 days. And I'm like, darn, guess we'll do another one. But after that 2 days, it all of a sudden just to the moon, and it was crazy. And I think that probably put me over.
It didn't do anything for 2 days.
It did it did like 1,000 views, and I was like, okay, this is regular.
Did you post anything after that?
Yeah, I did.
Like in between those 2 days.
Yeah, at that time I was still doing twice a day, so that was my first one of the day, and I let that sit, and then I do my afternoon post, go to sleep, nothing happens on either of those videos, post my 2 that day, go to sleep, nothing happens, wake up the next day, post my 2, and at the end of that second day, that one confidence video from 4 or 5 videos ago started taking off. So yeah,
that's awesome, man.
It's very that's the other thing about TikTok, is that it's not chronological. Anything can happen at any moment, pretty much.
So I like where we're going here. Do you mind can we go into some like kind of practical ways that someone could approach creating on TikTok?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to imagine this guy who is a food photographer.
Okay.
And he wants to go from working with clients to teaching about his food photography on TikTok. He's hesitant. Yeah. What number one, what would you say to him to make the case that he should be on TikTok?
I would explain to him how I would have that conversation that we had about how TikTok is not like Instagram, where you're supposed to be exposed to all of these new things from new people from around the world that you don't know. And you have this incredible once in a lifetime potential and chance to upload yourself to this platform that can and will skyrocket you with the right kinds of content. So what I would say to him is, you're leaving a lot of money and opportunity on the table by not being on this. There is a tribe for you, and they're just waiting for you. And by you not being there is leaving money on the table.
That was a clippable moment. I'm gonna take that clip right there and just edit it up in my style.
Sweet, man. Clip it, dude. Yeah.
Okay, so he decides to go on. He's like, all right, let's run it. What's one thing he should avoid doing?
Not having enough content. I would say make your account, but don't post on it until you have 14 videos.
Stack them.
Stack them, baby. That's what I did. That was actually half the reason why I started my account. I just sat down one night and I was like, I'm going to film 14 little clips of me. It was literally just me saying things like this: get off your phone. That's it. End of clip. It was like 14 of those different ways. So I would say, don't upload your first video until you have 14 or 15 of them. And then once you do, kind of chill for a little bit, post 2 a day. After 7 days, make 7 more videos. And dude, if you can always be ahead of the game, that is half the battle.
Yep.
I mean, that's 75% of the battle there. Just always be ahead. That's my advice for everybody. Whoever's watching this right now, don't start posting until you are way more ahead than you think you need to be.
Okay, so how do you put that in practice now? Do you pick one day a week where you create 7 video or 14 videos for the week? Is that your process, or do you kind of say, I'll pick and choose and I can do it here this morning, that night, or is there like a kind of a system around how you create content?
Yeah. So when I was just starting, I had already consumed 6 months of like how to grow on TikTok, and the number one thing is like consistency. So before I even started my account, I made sure I had 14 shitty little videos of me saying get off your phone or whatever. And then I would do a thing. I think I made it a point to shoot 2 a day even after I had 14. So I was way ahead for the first month or so. When I transitioned to doing 1 video a day, which was sort of March, end of Feb, March-ish, I would normally like shoot 5 on the weekend and then shoot 2 more or something during the week. And I would edit. I wouldn't edit them. I would just edit them in the mornings, because I made it also a point this year to wake up way earlier than I need to so I can do work like this. So I would edit everything in the morning. Sometimes I get 1 video done. Sometimes I get the whole week's videos done. But the biggest gripe for me as personally as Sean is getting set up. So like if I can get all my lights and cameras set up, that's the hardest part, because I can edit whenever. But as soon as everything's set up, I can shoot 5 or 6 videos.
And just a little side note to that. That is my exact approach right now.
Really?
I shoot everything on the weekend, and literally this weekend, or 2 weeks ago, I decided to go every weekday. I was gonna try to do 2 a day, so I could take the weekends off. I don't know if that's like good for my like. I noticed like when I post, I have this urge to want to check, and I just want to like kind of be a little more detached on the weekend if possible. Yeah. But that is my exact strategy throughout the week. I wake up morning, drink my coffee, and I get after a couple of the edits. Yes. So I like that strategy for batching. Being ahead of it feels so good to be ahead of it, and like knowing that you're ahead of the game.
Yeah, it's awesome. Nothing stresses me out more. I was just gonna say nothing stresses me out more than like I'm stressed right now because my drafts on TikTok are empty. I have to export things. I have them all done. I just got to export them. But it's such a good feeling looking at your drafts, because it shows up on your feed, like it says drafts, however many. I once had 14 like pristine, like modern Sean videos in drafts, and I was like, dude, I'm chilling. I could go on vacation right now and be all good. It's just such a good feeling.
Why did you change from going 2 a day to 1 a day?
So I went from 2 a day to 1 a day because I was creating videos without thinking about them, and I was getting these one-off viral hits where like this video would do way better than this video, but I wouldn't adjust my shooting style or editing to plan for that. So I wanted to take more of a methodical approach to creating content. So like doing 1 a day lets me create less content on the weekends and let me focus more on the things that I was doing well in the previous week. So I slowed down because I wanted to take more time, as opposed to just because once you get off your feet, on the first month of posting 2 a day, it's really just about how much you can post, and you're giving the algorithm more and more opportunities to put you in front of the right people. But I think once you are in front of the right people, that's sort of when you can sort of slow down and say, okay, what's working and what's not? What do I need to do? What do I not need to do?
Have you seen people repost old content that works?
Yeah.
And
actually, yes.
Do you recommend it?
That's a tip that's thrown around a lot in these like
to do it.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So I've got a friend of mine on TikTok. His name is Robbie and Penny. His account has 10.7 million followers, and his whole thing is it's sort of children's content. So it's pretty cringy and pretty goofy. Penny is his dog, and his dog is like this talking dog that talks. He says
built
that
for TikTok.
Exactly. No, exactly. He says that he'll only repost content when he had no time in the day to shoot new stuff. He thinks it's important to post every day, obviously. But if you can, try to post something fresh. If you want to repost something that did well, just reshoot it, like literally remake it. So that like goes into like why I did 20 testing your attention spans. But I watched him do this the other day. He reposted his most famous video. It originally got 100 million views. And he reposted it just a couple weeks ago, and it did 15 million. So it's still slammed. So like if you've got a winning piece of content, it's winning for a reason, but really only use that as your last resort, I think.
And the beauty of TikTok, and the probably what you can make the case for TikTok is there's a good reason to repost, is that the For You, like its ability to get you in front of new audiences.
Yep.
Where there's still going to be millions of people for him that are seeing it for the first time.
Yep.
And the people that have already seen it, I've only invested 10 seconds of my time. I can swipe my thumb, and it's not that much of a cost to me.
Yep. Going back to the Instagram thing real quick. Sorry.
No, all good.
If you were to do that, if I were to make a banging video on Instagram and it goes crazy on the feed, not on Reels, if I were to post that and it does great, and then 3 weeks later I'm out of content and I repost that same video, of course people are going to be like, hey, you just posted this, loser. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like on TikTok, it's all new eyes all the time.
All new guys all the time, and
That's
gals.
Right. And gals.
Okay, so what is one thing that you believe about short video content in general that others may disagree with you on?
Oh, that's wow. Wish I had like a study guide for this podcast. That's a great question. I think the person who isn't making TikToks will easily discount short form video because they think that it can't add value, because how could you add value in 15 seconds or less? But I think just the opposite. I think that's part of the fun, actually, of making videos on the internet, just in general now. Not just for TikTok, just the internet. You have to capture attention. I think finding the solution that is there of how do you capture an audience's attention in such a short amount of time is the biggest question of the 21st century. And to be a part of that and to figure that out is such a wonderful challenge.
And every single behemoth platform is competing for that type of content. Every single one of them is investing hundreds of millions of dollars into that. So as a creator, if you're not optimizing for that, you are leaving money on the table, because that's where the attention is.
Yes, I agree.
That's a great point, bro.
Yeah.
It's an exciting concept for me because there's this quote. I don't know who said it, so I'm not going to pretend I know. It might have been Abraham Lincoln. It might have been Mark Twain. But it might have been like a crazy guy at McDonald's, right?
Yeah, right.
But like he said, I'm gonna butcher this. I was going to write you a short note, but I didn't have time, so I sent you a long note instead. Because it's easier to like just say all your ideas. It's harder to create something short that is actually cohesive and makes an impact on people.
Dude, totally. And I think that's the valiant challenge and endeavor of social media is how do you distill the most exact and precise and value bringing points into such a short amount of time. Cut the fat off. It's all about the facts.
Cut the fat off. And you are incredible at mastering the first couple seconds of the video. I've noticed your hooks are strong. When I was scrolling through your content. Now tell me how you approach them and how this guy could think about approaching them if you're going to give him advice on how to create these shorts.
Yeah.
The hook specifically, the first 5 seconds.
If I were to talk to Mike, the food photographer, about hooks, it would be state the end of the video. State what you're going to gain from this video. By the end of this video, you're going to know how to use the 18 to 55 lens to shoot spaghetti better. And now that's a very niche hook, but you have to hook the audience. And this is still something I'm learning. But you have to figure out how to get someone to watch your video all the way through, because the watch time is the diamond metric that is accounted for when you're trying to get something to go viral or trying to grow. So I would say state the value that you're bringing and just tell a story. Both state the value and introduce your story that you're telling in a way that's digestible by the common person, to where any idiot off the street, dude, 2 seconds. People say 3 seconds, but I'm saying I'll tell you 2 seconds if you can. Yeah, just get it. Just yell it out. Talk
Next
quick.
year it might be one. It might be 1 second.
That's probably how it's going to be. Yeah.
Awesome. That's great insight. So be very clear what the person's going to get out of it in the quickest amount of time, 2 seconds if possible. That's something I can absolutely improve on myself.
I think though, I think there's a counterpoint to that, in that you can hook them and tell them exactly what they're going to learn, but there's a really tasteful way you can lead someone down a garden path and not really have an idea of what the end is going to be. I've been experimenting with that. I have a whole slew of videos that I have this experiment. I don't say, this is how to improve your productivity. It's literally just me telling a story. And the hook is the mystery of not knowing what's next. So you have to figure out, like I did a video yesterday that did better than I've been performing recently. And it started with me going, so I got this new jacket in the mail and it was a little bit more green than I thought. I have no idea where it's going to end, but I'm going to watch to find out.
That piques curiosity.
Yeah.
Piques curiosity. Like, I want to know why. Yeah. What's wrong with it being more green?
Exactly. Yeah. So it doesn't always have to be so clickbaity. It can be really authentic and genuine in that I did get a green jacket and it was too green. Okay. But the answer to that, the hook is, well, what does that mean for this guy?
Yes. Okay, I like it. So master that hook. Watch time is the diamond metric.
Exactly.
How many followers does this person need to have before they think about monetizing? Should they start, even if they're not monetizing, like when should they start thinking about monetizing? And then what would be, maybe that's not your industry, food photography, but like what would be, where would you point him in the direction to start monetizing this content?
So I would say the number is 10,000 because it's a pretty sexy little number to have under your name. 10K. Most people don't have a K if they're under 10,
5 digits. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's got the K under the, your, or whatever. But then,
oh yeah.
Like it just looks influencery, if that makes sense. I'd say the first thing you start selling is LUTs, is presets for Lightroom. If you're a food photographer or a photographer in general.
Digital download.
Exactly. And that's a great way of making passive income. You send someone to a link, $5, you get 10 LUTs. Sell 5 of those a day, it's 25 a day. That's a lot of money per month. Not a lot, but it's a good amount per month. And then you scale from there. I would say downloads.
Do you think that on TikTok, something to sell is something like that that's more of like an approachable, almost like a impulse buy kind of price level, like a $27, or would you recommend someone to do like a $99 or like $200 product on TikTok?
I think you can start doing $99 I think you start doing bigger ticket items when you become a bigger ticket yourself. I think. Yeah. I mean, I hate to say it, but the more followers you have, the more credible the perceived value of your information is way higher, right? So, I would probably say when Mike, the food photographer, gets to 50K to 100K, he could start selling a course. He can start selling a 3-week course on how to go from 0 to 100 as a food photographer. And it would be low effort for him to create this course. It would just be 14 modules of here's where to start, here's how to do the middle, and then here's how you make it a business. And I think that's sort of when you start selling a course.
And then at 10K, doing the LUTs, more of like that's like the lower tier, 50K, ramp it up a little bit.
Yeah, 50K, maybe you start doing one-on-one consultation calls about the business of food photography. And then 75K,
and you can take that material.
You start teasing a business. You sell a food photographer's handbook, the 10 things you need to know about getting into food photography. And then 100K hits, here's my course where you can get personalized instruction from me on how to make 6 figures shooting meatballs or whatever it is,
So you're at 400,000 now.
Mm-hmm.
How are you thinking about monetization? Are you totally in audience building mode, or are you going to get into some merch?
Yeah.
What are you thinking about?
Well, I've told myself that I'm not going to start selling my services until 500,000, and I really couldn't tell you why. And to me that's such a credible number. It looks nice and everything. I've thought about selling consulting, but I would have to consult on video creation and editing and TikTok and social media help. There's no way I'm going to be responsible for someone's mental health. My whole thing is sort of mental health, productivity, yada, yada. I don't want to tell someone as an unregistered therapist advice that's going to mess up their you know, as much as I'd like to. I can talk to you as a friend all day long.
As a homie.
Yeah. But like, there's no way I'm going to have a kid pay me to tell them how to get over their girlfriend. That doesn't seem ethical to me. And just, I think medically, probably very wrong. So I've thought about consulting on content creation because I've been doing it since I was a child. And, but I don't have the time for it, and I'd rather do it when I'm at a really, really credible point.
What about, have you had to turn down sponsors at this point?
So I actually just now started getting sponsorship emails. I had a couple videos that went crazy a couple weeks ago, and I think they all came from that. I had like an influx of 5 or 6, and I turned down a couple because they were just like way out of my niche, but I'm currently working on one that I'm probably not allowed to mention, but there's one that I'm going to do. I have the content all made and I'm just waiting for approval. You
started to get sponsors to reach out to you around 400,000.
I would probably say 350,000. Okay. Yeah. Around there. Let's say 300,000. I'll probably say that. But I will say, prior to these people reaching out to me, I made myself a media kit that's like well designed. It's Sean Ulashin, TikTok creator. It says my niche, says my audience, my metrics, a umbrella statement about what I do. Excuse me. And I shop that around to a bunch of these apps. Like, I'd love to work with Headspace, because I would actually just love to work with Headspace. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I started like just emailing kind of a template to a bunch of these brands and apps and companies, being like, I'll promote you for money. No one's responded, and I really haven't put a lot of effort into thinking about how to do that correctly, but I do have all the marketing materials I need for myself to do that if I really wanted to put energy into it.
So are you negotiating like the terms of that yourself?
Yeah.
The one that you're working with right now?
Yes. Yeah. So I don't have any representation or anything, but yeah.
You're just winging it?
Yeah. Well, so it's kind of funny. I have this friend who you might have seen actually on TikTok. Do you know Tejas?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's great.
So he was my first ever TikTok friend. We met in January, right after I started. And I was so mad because he had 2,000. We had like a handful of thousands of followers when we met. He had one freaking video about Logan Paul that skyrocketed. All of a sudden he's got 100,000. I'm here with 9,000 or whatever. And I was like, dude, I let this kid. So we've always been in friendly competition of like, who can do better. But he did a sponsorship with, I don't know if it's still up, but with Venmo. And he had 180,000 followers at the time. And he told me the price that he pitched to them and that they willingly paid. And I'm not going to say it, but it was a lot.
It was more than you expected?
It was a flick ton. It was like for like what I thought was reasonable, and they said yes. And it's Venmo, so it's super corporate and everything, yada yada. Yeah. So I was like, okay. And then so by that time we've sort of been pretty similar up until now. So about a month ago, this current one reached out to me and they're like, hey, we saw your stuff, love it, blah blah blah. I can say it's a therapy company, and I sent him my one pager, which has my price on it, which is solely based off of that one interaction with Tejas that he said. Because he was just like, I don't know, this number. And they're like, done. So I was like, well, I could do that too. So I did, and it worked. And that sort of goes toward, it's great. That sort of goes to the point of like, TikTok is still the Wild West of nobody really knows the prices of anything when you're getting into influencer marketing. Instagram's been around for 12 years or whatever now. And it's sort of, I won't say it's run its course because it's very much still a viable, space, but brands and businesses are run by these older people. Nothing against boomers, but they don't know what's a reasonable price or not for TikTok. So it's now on the creator to be genuine. I'm serious. It's now on the creator to be genuine about
That's funny to me.
Yeah.
It's like getting your car fixed. Like, I don't know. Like I go there. I'm like, yeah, man, I don't know how much that costs. I'll just give you some money on it. And like,
exactly. But ethically, I'm fine saying that number because like that's what I would charge for like a freelance video. Like it's expensive, but it's also paying for my knowledge of how to edit videos and how to tell a good story.
Bro, totally. And the trust that you've built with your audience and like the future trust of all the people that are like the backflow of content you're going to get. Like I don't think brands pay creators enough. So I mean, I think there's a lot of instances where like they're smart. They understand where like it's probably a numbers game to them. It's probably working with how labels work with artists. They sign 50 people, one of them takes off.
Right.
And they get a return on everything. Like all they need is one of these videos to make a huge impact, and they get a return on everything.
Yeah.
So you sent. So you're not. Are you going to wait till 500,000 to actually do that video?
No. So I have it all made. I'm gonna post it. I'm saying I'm waiting until 500,000 to like start
to sell stuff
being,
yourself.
Like, myself. Yeah. I'm not gonna.
Yeah.
I'll probably sell like consultation on
yeah.
or something, or shirts, whatever.
Cool.
Yeah. I think honestly, my biggest, the product that I want to sell is a journal that's like a custom Sean Ulashin journal that has like, you've probably seen like template journals that are like,
totally.
How did your day go? How did you feel? I want to just make one of those. And at Portland Gear, like I work with so many amazing people that like know how to source products like that. So it's like a no-brainer to just do that and have it branded all with my stuff and just have a, fulfillment center somewhere. But really, that's something I can really get behind. I'm not going to sell like a Gildan shirt with my logo. Like I could, but like if I could sell something that also adds as much value as my content is, I'm gonna.
Yeah. And I mean, your content is very much, like I said before, it's interactive. It's like applicable as soon as you watch it. And, like getting a shirt, like it's, anyone can get a shirt, but if I get a journal, like I can put that in action the same way I can put your content into action. So I think it's aligned with everything that you're already doing. All right, so no, this is good, man, because I think you talked about it too. Like it is the wild, wild west for the brands, but also creators. So like the goal is a creator hears this and they can think about the way you're thinking about monetizing. Your philosophy on it, and pull little bits and pieces that they can apply to their work. Now, there's a piece of content that I want to wrap this up with that you said in one of your videos, and I think it's important. You said no piece of advice is better than this one. Relax.
Yeah.
So tell me how you think about that as it applies specifically to creators. Yeah. And then also, just the importance of that. Just kind of like, letting go a little bit. Yeah.
So I'll be honest, that video, I was so frustrated because I was like making video. I literally was making videos all morning and I had just posted one and it was flopping hard. It was like a big, like produced classic Sean video and it just was not doing well. I could tell the trajectory was in the dumpster. So I deleted it and I literally think that's the first video I've ever produced in the TikTok app. But it was like straight from the heart. And I was like, dude, I need to freaking relax. I'm going to say it. So I did it and I'm like, hey man, relax. And the philosophy behind that is shut up, relax. It's all good, man. You're going to be fine. Like, it's just, we get, as creators, myself, I think the most, as creators, we just get so in our head about like, dang, my numbers are down. Dang, this person's doing better than I am. Dang, I'm not at the whatever, like, hey, it's the wild west. It's social media, dude. People don't actually care about you as much as you think they do. Get over yourself and make better videos. That's just relax and find what I'm saying by that is like, find the main thing that you're after. Is it just views or is it actual value? Yep. And I think definitely for you and for me and Tejas and all these people, it's value. And I think once you get too caught up, once you get lost in the sauce, baby, it gets game over for you. You just focus on the one thing and just let it be good.
That relax message, it was so important, and I could tell that it was raw. It was like it was different than all your other videos, but it actually inspired me to literally relax because I was in that same state of mind where I was like, oh, I gotta get this done. I got this meeting at 12, and I was just like, like it doesn't freaking matter.
It's all good, dude. I was literally seething mad. I was sweating. I was like, can't believe that video flopped. Can't believe these videos are probably gonna flop that I just filmed, that I spent hours filming just now. Gotta get this raw moment on camera, and I think it's a very authentic video, and I'm glad you picked up on that. But yeah, it's all about letting go. Just do your thing, see what happens. If it doesn't work, all good, because guess what? The sun's gonna come up tomorrow, and you could do it all again.
And post another.
Yeah.
Do you have any practices around on disconnecting? Are you always logged in?
Yeah, man. Like this whole year is. I mean, my TikTok is a real reflection of like what I'm trying to be as a person, and like aside from 1 million followers on TikTok, the other half of that is like, okay, how can I be a better human being? Bo Burnham is really hot right now because of his special. I don't know if you've seen it, but he
Yeah.
said in an interview, probably way years before this special, but he said that once you learn to live life without an audience, that's when you really start to unlock things. And that I saw that last week, and it just hit me like a ton of bricks, because we're just so everybody is so locked in, whether it's Instagram or literally your email. So I make it a point. I'm doing my best to not be on my phone first thing when I wake up for an hour, and last thing, I won't go to sleep with my phone. I think it's toxic for your brain and toxic for your mental health. And it's just nobody talks about that, and because everybody wants to be liked and seen and everything. But just remove yourself from that for a second. Tell yourself that human beings are not meant to have 1 million people following them around physically in the world at all times. So just relax and put your phone down.
I love it. Now, a year from today, what is one win that you've accomplished that you're most proud of when it comes to the content that you've been creating?
A year ago today.
A year from today.
I would like to be able to say that I created content that has a real impact and that I can sustain myself fully off of my ideas. I think that's like a full actualization, I think, of the creative mind, is like to be able to create what you want to make and know that you're impacting people, and then at the same time be financially all good. And like, I'm not even saying like I don't want to be rich, but like I just want to be able to know that I can upload a video and be all right for a month. You know what I mean?
Yep.
That kind of, I would love that.
Listen, I'm rooting for you. I truly appreciate the content that you're creating. I appreciate your time on the podcast and shedding this information. I feel like a lot of people are going to gain value. But again, the whole principle is as long as one person gains value. And now that one person, if they want to go and find you, what's the best place?
Yeah, I mean, my TikTok is what we're all talking about here. So my TikTok is at Sean Ulashin. That's Sean, Sean. And then my last name is Oulashin. That's probably it. Probably just send you my TikTok.
And then get the journal when it drops.
Get the journal when it drops, yeah.
Yeah.
It's coming
Beautiful,
out
man.
soon at some point.
Yo, this was so much fun, man. Thank you
Dude, yeah.
Thank you so much for being on the show.
Thanks so much for having me. This was awesome, man.